Good evening. Thursday, just past 9 o'clock. It's not Thursday. Jesus Christ, great start. Got to get used to this. Good evening. Monday night, just past 9 o'clock. I'm just too excited. I'm too excited. On tonight's show, a major collapse in New York. I'm not going to make the joke because it wasn't in New York. New York had a major collapse in Denver. The new manager bounce for the Jaguars has finally worn off, and Liam Cohen's now just crying after losses. I don't know, allegedly. And the Indianapolis Colts are the best team in the NFL, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Indiana Jones is playing elite. I think when we talked on Thursday, and we talked, I think Ed brought up sort of like the rising tides theory. That the talent around him was elevating him. And yes, true, because our offensive line, Quentin Nelson, should be MVP. But this is unreal. This is unreal from Daniel Jones, and I couldn't be happier. Joining me on our Monday weekly roundup show is the usual faces, Ed, Nathan. I mean, we're 6-1, so obviously we're all happy, but decent weekend, gents?
I mean, yeah, I'm not unhappy at all. And I'm sure we'll, like Ed said just before we went live, we're definitely going to find something to mourn about. It wouldn't be Southbound if we didn't, right? You can't tell us we don't bring you neutral, two-sided debate. But the Colts are 6-1, the best team in the NFL right now. And boys, I think this is the best offense in the NFL right now. It's just like a musical piece that comes together. That's the only way. I've been trying to think all day. How can I describe this offense? And Shane Steichen was the conductor, I think that's the word they use in an orchestra, of that offense last night. He was balling. Ed?
I completely agree. I also put a post up last night on my X account saying that Jonathan Taylor is the best player in the NFL, and I will not be hearing any counter arguments. Somebody did try this afternoon.
Not Cam Scatterbo, no.
Absolutely not Cam Scatterbo. No, I think Nathan's right. This team is playing offensively at a level that I didn't think was capable, if I'm being totally honest. I'm enjoying watching it, and I think that was for me yesterday, although obviously we'll talk about the game in a bit more detail. I got a bit nervy towards the end, not going to lie. But I decided I'm just going to enjoy this. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know how long it's going to last. And I don't mean that to sound negative off the bat, but let's just enjoy it. Like, this is a really good football team. If it wasn't our team, I'd be wanting to watch this team play football.
Yeah.
So the fact that it is my team, I just thought today, do you know what? Let's just enjoy it, because it's so much fun to watch at the moment. You know, you think as well, that was an offense without Josh Downs yesterday. And I'd argue, I don't even think we missed him. I mean, don't get me wrong, we would miss him in the long run. I'm not saying that we can go, but you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't noticeable. There's so many different ways that this offense can go that, it's brilliant. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah. And Ed, before I get into it with you, just to the viewers, this is our weekly roundup show. So tonight's show is an emotional reaction, as you can already tell. Like we say, we don't just do the Indianapolis Colts. The best thing for us, we go and pick out on Monday. We go and pick out games we want to highlight throughout the weekend. Any major plays, any major fumbles, heroes, villains, and just have a look around the league at what's going on. But Ed, you got to double dip on Sunday because you got to watch the Jaguars get absolutely spanked live. Apart from the result obviously going our way, because I've heard mixed reviews about the NFL UK experience. How was the experience for you and I believe your lad?
I took my lad. So it's been a few times. I think this time the weather didn't help this year. I'm not going to lie. So Wembley Way was very wet. That didn't help. That kind of put a bit of a damp. There was still a lot of people. I think there was still 6,000 people there.
Wow.
It was good. I think from my perspective, from a semi-neutral, in the sense that I wanted the Rams to win, I'm not going to lie. The Rams killed the game in the first, I don't know, for their first 2 drives. It wasn't a contest, and I think the atmosphere kind of suffered because of it, if that makes sense. I think the weather and the fact that it wasn't much of a contest, it kind of just sucked the life out of Wembley a little bit. But look, it's good. You know, we shouldn't groan about getting American football coming over to the UK. Obviously, Nathan, you were lucky enough to go to Dublin, and you both you boys off to Berlin in a couple of weeks. I think that will be better. I think possibly there's an element of fatigue around the London games. I think where people have it's almost kind of being taken for granted. So I don't know, Nathan, I know you've been to Wembley before, and obviously you went to Dublin this year. I don't know if you noticed a difference in the buzz maybe around the game, but I think certainly this year compared to maybe previous years that I've been, it did feel a bit more fatigued. Still enjoyed it, but it is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for what it is.
I'll be totally honest. I think you've summarised it perfectly. I've been going to the London games since maybe 2008, something like that.
Okay.
And my first ever experience of London was Tom Brady's Patriots against Sam Bradford's St. Louis Rams.
Wow.
That's how far back it was. And, you know, Bradford was like the big rookie at the time, or, you know, the big name, and Brady just destroyed them. It was amazing to watch. I mean, I hate the Patriots, but Brady was on fire that day. But fast forward to a few years, I went to, I think it was Raiders Jags or Raiders Browns. This is going to be about 7 years ago. And I was sat there and I felt fatigued, Ed. I love that word. I was like, this is like my 15th or 16th game here now. Like, I'd rather be at home watching the Colts. And I hated the fact that we had to drive. You know, obviously, if you guys listen, I'm from Wales. So it's like a 4-hour drive.
Well, it was
Irish. And I think once you, you know, I say this in like a non-boastful way. I mean, I feel very lucky that, you know, I went over to the States to watch the Colts and, you know, watch the Colts in various different countries. And it's incomparable, you know, to watching kind of some of the shit that they roll out in the UK. But yeah, Dublin was electric. You know, it felt like a true game, as in, you know, nearly everybody was in Minnesota or Pittsburgh jerseys, which I think if you've ever been to a London game is not the experience you get, which is cool because you can kind of play, you know, NFL bingo, really.
Yeah.
You know, when me and my friends used to go, we'd make a bet of, you know, what jersey do you think we'll see first? And believe it or not, Tim Tebow's Florida Gators jersey won more than people would think.
I saw one of those yesterday. I saw one.
He's probably the guy that been going for years, but
yeah, probably the same guy. Yeah,
it is. I think it is a fatigued experience, mate, and it's wonderful for new fans to go to and stuff. You know, they should keep doing it, but I think I imagine they're not happy about the product that they actually put on the field over here. You know, even to kind of go off the Colts for an example. Look at the Giants Broncos game last night. That's the product you want new neutral fans watching, not this Jacksonville team. I went off on a bit of a tangent there, Jen. Sorry.
No.
I think you've made a wonderful point, mate. And it is expensive too.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that was the thing for me, Jacksonville, because I did think that we left with 11 minutes left to go. So once the Rams scored their 4th touchdown, let's go, because it's getting the tube out of Wembley is always a pain in the arse. If you've done it, it's just a nightmare. So I thought we'll get on our toes and try and get home so I can make up for the Colts game, which I actually want to watch. But at no point did I think to myself, oh, maybe Jacksonville might mount a sort of Broncos style cut. It was never on the cut. It was such a one-sided game. It just wasn't a contest. But look, my boy enjoyed it. That's the most important thing. You know, it's introducing new fans to the sport, which we're all in agreement is fantastic. We've got live American football coming to the UK, which is fantastic. The one thing I will say, and we'll move on, Harrison, because I don't want to spend the whole time talking about my day out in London, because I'll have the bank on the phone again, seeing how much it cost. Talking of the shirts bingo, I saw the worst combination I've ever seen. And when you go to Berlin, please tell me if you see, like, I want to hear, obviously I want to hear all your stories. Someone who's wearing a Kyler Murray Cardinals jersey, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
With an LA Rams baseball cap on.
What? That's interdivision stuff. What the hell?
They walked past me 3 or 4 times, and I don't know if he thought I was like bogging him out or something, but I kept doing that. He was like, really? Like, really? Like, you know, I wouldn't have put a Jags and Colts. Do you know what I mean? You just don't do that. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that's a little bit of a different start to Monday's show because we usually do 10 minutes on the Colts. So now we'll get into the actual Colts game. The Colts, I've just completely forgot all my words. The Colts beat the Chargers in LA. They put the loss to the Rams this season. They put it right finally. They beat the Chargers 38-24. The scoreline made it seem a little bit closer than it actually was as the Colts stormed out to, I believe, was it a 21-3 halftime lead? But then Justin Herbert and Harbour finally kicked their ass into gear and we got Gus Bradley back for just a half of football. It felt like a joke. No, but with a quick replying scores after the halftime from Herbert and Harbour, it made the game feel a lot closer and our group chat was squeaky bum time, as they will officially say. But good plays from Zaire Franklin. Yeah.
Do we ever think
yes,
say that?
I've said that out. A good play. Shall I change my mind to? A good plays from Zaire Franklin and DeForest Buckner showing his quality right at the end there, who just seems to, when everyone's knackered, when it gets to the fourth quarter, guy, I'm running out of words to describe DeForest Buckner. Somebody please help me out.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Buck's a special player, and I think we often forget that. You could probably say he's like, top 3 D tackle in the league. I'd personally put him in second place, without a shadow of a doubt. But he just comes to life when we need him. And I think a frustrating thing for me this year has been, we talk about in the group chat all the time. We generate so much pressure this year, and I can see it on tape. And you're just like, get there. That's all I felt like I was saying yesterday was just finish the play. And we just seem to not come away with the sacks or the hits or whatever. We'll talk about Quitty Pay seeing a ghost or something. I don't know what the hell he saw on his kind of opportunity. But yeah, Buck's special, man. And, to think that we got him for just a first round pick and look at the player he's turned into. You would dream to draft a player like that. So I think that's one of Ballard's all-time best decisions in his tenure at Indy.
And just before I let Ed jump in to talk more about Buck, and even we need to talk about Gross Stewart. But that first round pick, that was when Buckner was coming up into his pomp. Like this is Buckner now. He's the elder veteran, so he's still an excellent player. And I'm not saying he's over the hill or anything, but he's on the part of the career where he's bringing up the rookies. Whereas when we got him, he was the premier defensive tackle in the league. So for just one first round picker, because San Francisco,
they
didn't want to pay him. It's crazy. But Ed, I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, I got a few thoughts, sort of good and bad, about yesterday. Let's start with the sort of bad things. Those Charger uniforms.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the fact we couldn't lose to a team dressed as fucking bananas. I mean, that was just ridiculous, wasn't it? That just straight away. Secondly, I don't know who was flapping more in the group chat yesterday, Harrison. I think I'd done more laps around my living room yesterday, much more than I should have done. I think that game ended up being a lot closer than it should have been, and I think credit to Justin Herbert. did have a fantastic day. I mean, you could argue that our defence kind of collapsed in the second half. I would say that, but I think Herbert threw for over 400 yards. I don't know if anybody's got the stats in front of them, but it was outrageous.
I think
That is ridiculous, isn't it? Let's be honest with you. Like, that is a hell of a day, and then to not win. Also, Nathan, who would you have as number one defensive tackle then? You think Chris Jones?
100%. I think
okay.
Chris Jones is like a top 3 player in the league. But honestly, I do. I rate him that high. Obviously, you know, if we're not going to talk quarterbacks or whatever. But yeah, I just think Chris Jones is the guy. And I think Buck is like this far. For anybody listening, I'm signaling an inch. He's so close behind Chris Jones. But yeah, Buck's a special player. And I think that's probably ties into a lot of the emotion we've had as Colts fans pre this season beginning, is these players that are elite. And, you know, you can go through our back catalogue of us kind of hoping and praying that we get some more elite players. Buck's always been an elite player for us. And, you know, there was times a few months ago where the three of us were talking about, do you think he'll leave, or, you know, should we look to let him go on and win a bowl? And, you know, the dude's a special player.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think him and Q, I think we were talking about potentially being the players that you trade away if it all goes Pete Tong this year, to let them go and get a challenge for a ring, and also get something back. But yeah, back to yesterday, Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns. I mean, what more can we say about the man? It's getting ridiculous now, isn't it? It's 11 touchdowns he's got this year.
I mean, it was 12.
It might be, mate. It might be. Yeah, you know, I'm just saying numbers. Lots. He's got lots of touchdowns. Lots. This is the great insight and analysis you're getting from me tonight. He's got lots of touchdowns. He's got lots of touchdowns, and he runs a lot. No, I mean, he's been on another planet, hasn't he? He really has just been exceptional. Nathan, I know you love to talk about the line, and I agree. Like, it all starts with the line, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely. The line was just on another planet yesterday, and sometimes it just looks automatic when Taylor begins his route. They were doing a lot of analysis. You know, JJ Watt and stuff.
He was good, by the way.
Yeah, he was excellent. And I don't know if anybody has seen the praise he's given us today. If you haven't and you are a Colts fan, I really would suggest going to watch it. It's really cool to see, like, you know, one of the best edges in the history of the game praise us so well. But yeah, he was talking about Taylor kind of reflecting on his game and wanting to, you know, slow his runs down and not be like the hero player. And sometimes you just look at Quentin Nelson blocking and you're like, yeah, this is a touchdown. It's so weird to say that, but sorry to cut off.
No, I think you're right. I think Matt Gonsalves on the other side, there was a few occasions when he was getting out as well. There was a few runs where he was pushing out. So it's great that we're not becoming sort of, not predictable, but do you know what I mean? We can go both sides. So yeah, I thought that was great. Also, do you reckon JJ Watt fancies sort of 6 or 7 games this year? Do you reckon he's still got it? Could we tempt him back for a little run at a ring?
As much as I'd love to, mate, I don't think he would.
No, I'm only being silly.
Yeah,
but it is a position we need.
So we'll stick with the defense just to cover the sort of better defense, and then flip to the offense because, I mean, now it's had time to settle in, and we've got the win. Seeing Keenan Allen still rack up yards against the Indianapolis Colts and converting first downs in a Chargers uniform, I wanted to scream. I was like, this. I've been haunted enough by this man. It doesn't need to happen anymore. Like, this is not happening. I thought Herbert and Harborough targeted Mekhi Blackman. I thought, oh God, this is going to sound like, I hate saying this because he had such an excellent game, but Nick Cross, I thought he got a little bit lost in coverage at times. But why am I saying that when he picked one off one-handed in the end zone? Do you know what I mean? That's such a nitpicking thing, but we are down to our 11th and 12th corner. So, and just for me, I give him a lot of stick. So I've got to give him his praise when he does well. But that play from Zaire Franklin stopped a touchdown. And that's all you need to do. Do one of them again. No stupid fouls. No slagging off other people. Just do that, and we can all be happy. But the sort of the bad from the defense, like we've already touched on, pass rush. Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a problem. But I mean, I feel bad because, like you say, Nathan, we can see it, but we've got to have better blitz. The blitzes have got to be better than just an extra man sneaking in underneath, because it's going to get picked up by the running back every time. And if that's in the championship game against the Chiefs, Patrick spitting everywhere. Patrick Mahomes is going to go 6 yards, thanks. 7 yards, thanks. 8 yards, thanks. And I'm impressed with what Lou's done so far. Like, the bar was very low, but I'm impressed with what he's done. Can he just get his pieces back? We need him to get his pieces back, because I think once he does, that won't happen. But last thoughts on the defense?
Yeah, I think we were talking about it off air, weren't we? That we were. I think we all were nervous watching periods yesterday, and you're kind of thinking, "Oh my God, we're going to somehow mess this up," which is crazy when we reflect on it. Because look at what our offense was doing, right? Even if it went into a shootout, gents, I don't know about you, but I still don't think we would have lost that game, because we would have kept scoring as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the kind of continuous 4-man pressure that just never gets home. That go excuse me, that Chargers O-line was, I mean, it was hemorrhaging. There's so many replacements on there, and I'm just thinking, could we have been a little bit more aggressive? But at the same time, I think, like, this is the NFL, and Justin Herbert, in my opinion, is an elite quarterback, and he was gonna carve up a depleted secondary. Do I think that at times we made it a bit easy for him? Yes. But I think when I reflect on it, I'm like, I somewhat get it. They were trying to kill the clock. They were eating into the clock, and they made it count. Let's be honest, that 4th down miss, that was huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge turning point in the game. When I think, it feels crazy to say this as a Colts fan, but I was so confident we were going to go up the field then. So confident that at that point we were going to move the ball. And I don't think we did from memory. I think we 3-and-out, didn't we? But, I can't quite remember. It's all blended into one, and my head is mush because we're 6-1. But yeah, Nick Cross, boys, he's going to be a real headache for this team, because how do you let him walk? Name me 3 safeties in the free agency market, or even the league right now, who are playing at a level better than him. I don't think you can. And I'm sure we'll talk about this more on Thursday, but for me, I can't believe I'm saying this as like the O-line guy, but I think I'd rather lose Braden Smith than I would Nick Cross, who are both free agents at the end of the year.
Yeah, because I think we need players back at safety.
And we could, I know you're not going to hit every time, but if we drafted our replacement right tackle, because let's be honest, we all want to be a high pick this year, right? We want this train to keep going. We want to be picking like 27 to 32 even. Let's believe, right? I'd be really happy with taking a right tackle. You got 5 years of cap flexibility there, and we can keep all the players we need. But yeah, Nick Cross is just so refreshing to watch. This is what they traded up for 3 years ago.
Ed, any thoughts on the defense?
No, I think you both summarised it quite well. Let's we kept them to 3 points in the first half. I think Nathan hit the nail on the head. This is the NFL. Harbour and Herbert reset. They looked at it and they figured it out. That's why it's the highest level. You know, you're playing. The other team are good at football as well. Let's not forget. Whoever you're playing against, we still got 2 takeaways. You know, that's still worth pointing out. And I think you said it there, Harrison. Corners 11 and 12, whatever number we're down to, and they're playing like it. You know, it's not their fault. There's a level. Get our players back. I think we should be okay. Hopefully.
And that wasn't 100% fit Kenny Moore either. You could tell he just wasn't 100%, but he made some big plays. I love.
He had a good game. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we quickly before we move on to the offense, no, actually I'll park it because I'll save it for later because I think it's worth saving for later. So you'll have to wait around and find out what I'm talking about. But offense, moving on to the this is fucking elite. This is unreal. And I'll say him just before offline to Nathan, that is the best ever head coaching game I've seen from Shea Steichen. And that is arguably, I'm maybe thinking back to the Andrew Luck T.Y. Hilton game in Kansas.
Cool.
When I was like, this offense is fucking unreal. The last time I watched the Colts offense have gone, wow. Do you know what I like?
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Obviously, we've had like games where we've played excellent and we've usually
any given Sunday
5 touchdowns against Buffalo.
Yeah.
But as an offensive unit and the head coach, the drive we went down the 2-minute warning and kicked the field goal, which I thought was excellent design and excellent call from Shane Steichen, was the first time we'd not scored a touchdown in the red zone since the Rams game. I think I've got my facts right.
Wow.
We went perfect. The last 2 teams we played went perfect against the Cards and perfect against
the Raiders. Jeez.
That is Super Bowl winning formula. In 3 games, well, I know the second half was a bit more skewed because of the game situation, but essentially 2.5 games to not score a touchdown once on from the red zone. That's unreal.
And they could have taken a shot as well, by the way. They had time to take a shot for a touchdown yesterday if they wanted to. I know you said you thought it was the right thing.
But not just on that, because I get it, right? You're there, 17 seconds, you think, just take a shot. But what actually, and then they talked to Shane, or listened to Shane's presser, and he was saying, like, we wanted them to have no time. None. Not a seat. We didn't want to give them a second, and I get that. And you see in the second half where, let's say we do take it and it's a pick 6, or you fumble the ball and they pick it up and they get 3 even. You know, all of a sudden the double dip it. So, but yeah, who wants to? Because I realise the show is getting on a bit because we have lots to talk about. But the offense, what we feeling? Who wants to go first?
I completely agree. I've always at times felt like a rush of adrenaline when Shane's like in his bag, and we've seen it at times in his tenure. Sometimes it almost feels like you're watching your friend play Madden. Like, like he's so dialed in, and you can see in his face, and I think he's become kind of like very Uncle Phil Rivers with like his gosh damn it and stuff when he's mic'd up. Do you see how much he was swearing yesterday, boys? Do you see him? He was fired up yesterday. And like there's just things that we've not really seen before. Like, I mean, I don't know about you. I was watching a game with 3 friends yesterday, right? And we were going to 4th and 2. And even they were saying, he's going for this, isn't he? And I'm like, yeah, he ain't kicking. He's in his bag. And look, there's completely, I think it's very, very fair to say that in the years prior, Shane's offense was missing a premier tight end and a quarterback that he categorically trusts. And in the last 5 years, it is so important. What we're seeing with Daniel Jones, he's happy to take the simple option, the kind of boring option. Have you seen how efficient we are on first down, by the way? We're like leading the league on first down right now. And it's because Shane's scheming up these plays where it's quick, it's easy, we'll take 5, we'll take 6, and then we'll run it with Taylor and we're back to first. I am going to keep this quick and then I'll move on to Ed. The O-line was so good again. It is an absolute joy to watch, and I cannot get enough of Tyler Warren. This guy is special. The way it's like a match made in heaven. You're giving a Swiss Army knife to an absolute offensive genius, and we've always said that, boys, right? We've always said that Shane is this offensive genius, and maybe he was letting him down. We were wrong. We were categorically wrong. This playbook has never been as open as it is now. Ed?
I think Daniel Jones deserves a lot more credit than I think he's getting. I'm hearing a lot of talk about Baker Mayfield and what he's doing with Tampa, and I think he's been brilliant. I'm not disputing it for 1 second. But I think Daniel Jones, I think sometimes doing the simple thing is massively overlooked and harder to do than people think. Everybody wants to be hero. Everybody wants to sling it sort of down, and he can sling it down the pitch. We saw that yesterday. There's a brilliant completion to Alec Pierce. Unbelievable throw, unbelievable completion. But you're right, Nathan. He's happy to take the 5 yards. He's happy to hand it off to Jonathan Taylor. He's happy because they say there's no more important position in all of sports than a quarterback, right? Daniel Jones is almost selfless in what he does. He doesn't necessarily want to be the star in a role that is designed to be the star. And I think sometimes that's maybe going against him. And I think I saw a message earlier, I can't remember if it was on X or anything like that, that said, and I thought this sums it up perfectly, are we 2 more wins away from the narrative shifting to Daniel Jones being a system quarterback? Like, I think that Daniel Jones just does not seem to be getting that. And I get it, let's have it right. We weren't particularly chuffed when he signed, and we were even less pleased when he won the starting job because of the Danny Dimes. We've all seen what happened in New York, and it was an unmitigated disaster. But the fault lies on in both parties there, as far as I'm concerned. He's come to Indianapolis, and he has been playing unbelievable. I saw a stat earlier that said that he, under pressure, his QBR rating is higher than Josh Allen's was last year under pressure, and Josh Allen was the MVP in the league last year, obviously, as we know. That's how good Daniel Jones is playing. And it's right, when you watch him, and we can all sit here and talk about stats. When you watch things with your own eyes, he hasn't, to me, yet, apart from maybe a couple of plays in the Rams game when we all said we need to settle down, he hasn't looked flustered. He hasn't looked scatty. He hasn't looked erratic. He hasn't looked, like that wild look that he used to get in his eyes in New York. Haven't seen any of that. He looks calm, composed. I'm in control. And that breathes through that whole offense. He's got Shane in his ear, who, like you say, Nathan, is calling unbelievable games at the moment. He's got a brilliant set of weapons around him. And I think the whole offense is playing. And we're seeing the results. It's the best offense in all of football. And I cannot wait for our game against Kansas City after the bye. If we're still, if we can keep this up, I think the over-under, they're going to have to set at about 90 points, aren't they? Because it's going to be an absolute slugfest. I mean, it's just going to be points galore, isn't it? If we carry on like this against Kansas.
And before you pivot on, Harrison, how, quite frankly, fucking insane is it that Edge just said that he can't wait to play Mahomes and the fucking Chiefs? This is unbelievable, boys. We need to enjoy it. We need to enjoy every single week, every single play. Like, bring it on. I agree with you, Ed. Like, I cannot tell you how good it was when Shane tagged Pat Surtain every fucking key throw against Denver. It just ignited something in me. I was like, we've never played like this before. And I completely agree. Like, bring on anyone right now. That's how I feel. We need to enjoy it. We need to enjoy it.
Yeah. And last part on the offense then, because Thursday we can obviously talk about it so much more. But there's 2 plays from Daniel Jones that I think show he's where he is at the minute, and that was when he got the low snap. I was going to say from Danny Pinter. Then it's not Danny Pinter at all.
Oh, thank God, no. Sorry. Yeah, Bortolini.
Yeah. From Bortolini, I think he still got it off for 6-7 yards.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And then the RPO to the RPO fake pitch to Pittman, just a little lob pass over the defensive tackle. He could have panicked because he threw an interception against the Cardinals like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he did that was great defense from the Chargers. I thought, by the way, quick shout out before we do move on. I thought the Chargers, very good football team.
Without a doubt.
Very good. I was like, this is 2. I think the scores are a bit like I say, I think the score whiffed people a lot because it was wide, then it wasn't, then it was. But I think they were genuinely 2 very good football teams going at it. And I think that speaks a lot to Shane Steichen and his credit. But moving on then, because other teams do play in the NFL, unfortunately. So this is a section of the show for those watching and those who have just joined, maybe new. This is a section of the show where, if I could speak today, God, I asked the lads, have they got any highlights, games they want to talk about? I've got a feeling one game's going to come up, but who wants to go first with their game to highlight?
Go on, Ed, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I missed most of the 6 o'clock slate because I was traveling back. I've been trying to catch up today, but there was one in the 9 o'clock slate. I'm sure you want to talk about the Giants and the Broncos. I'm not going to talk about that one. I'm just going to talk about the Cards and Green Bay, because again, the Cards find a way to lose a game that they probably shouldn't have done, and they're now 2-5, I think.
Yeah.
When realistically, they could even have a winning record. They seem to outdo themselves. But no, what caught my eye with this game was Micah Parsons came up with 3 sacks, including one right at the end on Jacoby Brissett. And that, Chris Ballard, is why you go and pay a premier edge rusher, Chris Ballard, who can wreck games and change the course of your franchise from being a team that may compete to definitely could potentially go to a Super Bowl. Chris Ballard, if you're listening, edge rushers win games. So that kind of caught my eye for a couple of reasons. One, because Mike Parsons is a game wrecker, and 2, because I was thinking, oh, we could do with something like that. Go on, Dave.
Also, no, I'll say it when we get to villains. Actually,
okay.
I think the obvious one is Denver at New York.
Yeah.
If anyone listening has friends who have said to them, I think I'm going to get into American football, give them your Game Pass account and put this game on. It was legendary. And look, shout out to Jackson Dart, who a few weeks ago we were, I think, a little bit worried about, because we kind of knew that, he was that job-saving situation where they were just going to roll him out. The guy's balling out. He's playing good football. Okay, the interception was, very rookie-esque. It happens with rookies, but this game was just unbelievable. Sean Payton, just like, what? Some of the things they were doing was just unbelievable. I've said it a few weeks on our Monday show. Cortland Sutton is legit. This guy is a legit wide receiver 1 these days. I could talk about this game deserves a show of its own, but it was absolutely insane. And I know it's a tough loss for New York, but I mean, that locker room must have been fired up after it, the way they played. Real tough one. And look, Denver's still alive, 5-2 right now. They're alive and kicking, and we beat them. So moving on.
Just on that, I say as well, credit to Bo Nix. Was it 30 seconds? No, not even 30 seconds. No timeouts.
I didn't even talk about Bo Nix.
No, you're right. No, sorry. Yeah, but that throw at the end to get him into field goal range was just Yeah,
Unbelievable.
credit.
I think he got a little bit like I'm not. It's a great throw, but I think he got a little bit lucky that he had two receivers in that area. I think he was. Who caught? Did Sutton catch that? There was
Was it Mims? I don't. I don't. I must admit, I'm not.
Basically, one of them was on like a deep hook, and one of them was
Right.
on sort of like a mid post. And because they crossed, like it somehow just ended up to. I think he threw it to the wrong. Not he threw it to someone, but it went to the wrong person. If you get
I
what
see
I'm
what you're
saying.
saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, obviously not like I wouldn't care if
Happy
he won the
mistake.
Super Bowl like that.
No.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not taking away, but yeah, to do that, like you say, fantastic. The game I'm going to talk about for all the wrong reasons is the Cleveland Browns 31, the Miami Dolphins 6, Tua with 100 yards and 3 interceptions. I've not looked to see if McDaniels is gone, but
it won't be long.
It's not looking good for Miami. It is not looking good.
I mean, the
Are they
thing
marching for Arch?
I don't know if Arch will come out this year. To be honest, I think their bigger issue is whoever takes the job. They've still got Tua, haven't they? Like I don't know, that sounds really horrible, but he looks so out of sorts, doesn't he?
He's just Are they paid him? They must.
Yeah, they've already paid him. Yeah, I think that the cap hits something. I think they're on hook for like 75 million or something. Like
it's fully guaranteed, I believe, his contract.
Yeah,
Oh,
they are.
I'll have a look now, actually.
Yeah.
The thing is, from our perspective, again, linking it back to the Colts, they're going to be sellers, aren't they? Come in, trade deadline. You know, anybody there that we could potentially go and get. I've heard a few rumours about Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips is a player I've always quite liked, but his injury record concerns me. I think he's done Achilles, and I want to say he's blown his knee out as well. Go on, Nathan's got Tua's contract. So
So it was a 4-year, £212.4 million contract.
Wow.
With 167 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
His cap hit is 39 million this year.
Wow.
That is insane. They can get out of it they can get out of it now, but he's gonna be on so much dead cap. But
then interestingly, Denver, we saw a couple of years ago, didn't they? With when Sean Payton went in, and they obviously made the decision to move on from Russ and paid him to go to Pittsburgh, and look at where they are now. So you can get out, but that takes a sort of very good head coach to kind of get you out of that kind of position.
So just a few names then that we could potentially look at, like you say, Jalen Phillips, linebacker. I believe they've got Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. I mean, they only traded for him.
Patrick and Bynum was our free safety and strong safety. I'm just saying.
Have they still got Storm Duck on their depth chart at cornerback?
Did he not get a season ender against us?
Oh, did he?
I'm sure he got a big injury. I'm not sure. But also, if we're still struggling for corners come trade deadline, they do have Juju Brents.
Tell you who I'd want from them. We're never going to get him, mind. Is Chop Robinson.
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome.
We're never going to get him, but
no.
That'd be like him and Lato on edges.
Serious,
so good.
Serious question on the Dolphins before we move on to heroes and villains. Then they picked up Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
Obviously had a very good college career. Is it not worth giving him a shot? Like, do you not want to see what you've got? Because even if you just say to Tua, like, look, just step back for a week, like, gather yourself, step back for a week, and let's reset the system. Or is it a head coaching problem and they're just not about him anymore?
I think they're more likely to go down the head coaching route first. I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
You know, you've got the rookie there, see what he's like, but could you also argue that you're putting him in a position to fail? You know, sticking him in a team that's not performing well, is that putting him in the best position to showcase himself? Like I say, I think they're more likely to go down the head coach route and see if they can get somebody to get a tune out of Tua before they cut their losses completely, because that's a lot of money to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a crazy amount of money. Last
to
part
watch.
of the show then, because time's moving very quickly. But the last part of the show, gents, heroes and villains of the week. We will start with. Let's start with villains. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I will go first. Sorry, Nath. I will go first. This is a very personal one. So obviously we mentioned I was at Wembley yesterday. I bought me and my son 2 nachos and 2 Pepsis. Anybody want to hazard a guess at how much that set me back?
15 quid.
£31 for 2 nachos and 2 bottles of Pepsi. So not even draft, bottles of Pepsi. £31. We're then watching the game, and my boy, about American football does go on a bit when you're there live. It's a long game. Got hungry again. Can I have some chicken and chips? Yes, mate, you can. Went and found chicken and chips and a bottle of Pepsi. That was another £18.
What?
For 3 chicken tenders and some chips and another bottle of Pepsi. So my villain of the week is Wembley for robbing me blind of the best part of 50 quid for 3 Pepsis, 2 portions of nachos and some chicken and chips.
Wow.
You pay that's like a 2-course meal mid-price, isn't it?
Mate, I'm used to going to the Weatherspoons for my dinner. Like, you can think how much I can get down at Spoons for 50 quid.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my villain. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
Nathan, your villain?
Mine is the Green Bay Packers organisation. They lost me 450 quid last night. Yikes.
No.
But yeah, I really believed in this team before the season started, and every week they made me doubt why I did. They make every game look difficult. Like, okay, they flash at times, but yeah, I was so certain on Packers -7, and I'm still not quite over it. I'm sure I'll be over it tomorrow, but I would have loved to have got 450 quid.
Could have got yourself some nachos.
Yeah, could plan my Wembley trip next year. Those are my villains. Like, I think if you want to be a legit force in the NFC, you can't make games against the Cardinals be, not disrespect to the Cardinals, but they're without this.
Hold them to the same standard we get held to, mate.
True. They're without Kyler Murray. Another debate for another day is the Cardinals' offense looks better and more operational under Jacoby Brissett.
100%.
The GM's got something to think about, but I just don't think you can be this big force that Green Bay want to be when you make games that difficult. If Josh Jacobs is injured, they lose that game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Great point.
So my villains of the week, I've got a one that's not so serious and one that is serious and I think is worth calling out. But the one that isn't so serious is the Denver Broncos game. I don't know the name of the player, but whoever got caught offside because he was too tired or too lazy to get back, so Bo Nix snapped it quick to catch him offside to put Denver within field goal range.
Wow.
In that situation, your head coach, Brian Daboll, not using his last time out to stop that happening, to at least force a long field goal attempt or force another play.
Yeah.
It's just insane to me that, like, I know there was head games between Steichen and Harborough. There was mind games. There was
there was actually
warfare, and that was quite brilliant to see. But to not see your defensive tackle sprinting back as fast as he can, and then just be like, he's not making this. He's not making timeout. But yeah, that's sort of like just that one play from the Giants. You can't do that, but I suppose that shows why a bit like us last year. They're a 2-5 team and not the 5-2 team. And the more serious one, Dylan, and I hate this because Isaiah Rodgers is genuinely one of my favourite Colts players. I loved him. We still live in a time where people, especially America, it's probably quite divisive at the minute, but people are still getting racial abuse for a game. I'll expand that because you've not seen it by looking.
No,
Facebook.
I've not seen this. No,
he's essentially. It might be on his Instagram still, so I don't want to say go and check out because I don't want to give.
Yeah.
The person who's done it no to it, but he's put it up there, so feel free to go. But literally, racial abuse to Isaiah Rodgers, who only was it last week got a perfect PFS score. And let's be real, we're missing him right now.
Yeah,
I'd gladly have it. But we still live in a time, we see it in elite sports everywhere. People think, well, I spend money, so I have the right to say what I want to.
No, you don't.
And it's mental to me that we still live in this world. But yeah, so I mean, Isaiah, if you want to come back to the Colts, because we really need a cornerback. But no, I'm fully aware and fully nuanced enough to understand that he won't be the only one. We watch all sorts of sports. We watch soccer, we watch basketball, we watch American football. Our teams, players from our teams have received racial abuse just for miskicking the ball, a plastic, and it's just mad. But anyway, on to the heroes to end the show on a lighter point and a better point. Who wants to go first with their hero?
I can go first if we circle around again. Yeah. So my hero, again, I'll keep this relatively personal to myself. One of the main reasons I wanted to go and see the Rams so much was to see Matthew Stafford in the flesh. He is one of my favourite non-Colt related players of all time. He was outstanding yesterday. And as you both know, seeing somebody in the flesh is very different seeing it on the TV because you see everything. Yeah. He was amazing. I think he also became the first player to ever score 5 passing touchdowns in an international game yesterday. So to see that, or part of it, because I left before the end, so I saw 4 of them. But to see Matthew Stafford, he's my hero of the day because I wanted to go and see him. He absolutely lived up to my expectation. Seeing him in the flesh, like I say, was just an unbelievable experience. And yeah, he's my hero of the day, which is quite tragic, really, because he's not. I think he's similar age to me. Might be a bit older, but yeah.
He'll always be the B-Tech Andrew. Look, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. Look, yeah. I know that's why I did specify non-Colt. Like I don't know why, but you just have a player that you must have players you just have a kind of like a liking to, and he's just always been one that I've always admired from afar.
I used to get to watch JJ Cotter in the flesh. Like there's something about them elite players.
Exactly that, mate. Just certain players, and he is one. And to see him play at such a high standard still was just really cool.
Yeah, I bet it was, and like we said, great experience for your lad to go and watch.
Exactly, mate.
One of the greats to do it. Yeah. He can say to his mates, I've watched Matthew Stafford live when he's playing Madden, like later in the icon card is Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, his first ever experience, so I don't want to drag it on, his first ever experience was Desmond Ridder, so that's a hell of an upgrade.
Do you remember the trade talks about Desmond Ridder?
I do, yeah.
Nathan, your hero of the week.
Mine's Shane Steichen, for many reasons, but the main reason he's my hero is because he had some of the best gamesmanship I think I've ever seen. When the Colts were 4th and 3, 4th and 4, and he pulled the offense off the field, moved the field goal unit on, and then just subbed them back and managed to scare Harbaugh into using a touchdown, using a timeout. I was like, let's fucking go, Shane. But yeah, he was just electric yesterday. It's so exciting to see a coach that calls like 70-yard bombs as well. I'm a big fan of it. He is absolutely my hero of the week.
So I've got two. Keep it quick because we've also got plays of the week, and I'm sure it only comes down to one play really, so we can all have a quick chat about it. But I mean, there's loads I could pick from because it's nice when you win and when you win good. And I didn't think I'd go this way when I woke up this morning with this hero of the week, but my hero of the week is Luana Rumoy. And it's one simple thing he did, and it just shows that he learned when we were playing the Cardinals and we were getting marched down the field by Jacoby Brissett. He didn't take the time out. He didn't take the time out, and he marched up and got a touchdown. I think this game, Herbert's moving down the field. I think that they might have even still ended up converting the 4th and 3, 4th and 2 or something, but he didn't like the look. He called the timeout. And it was like, I mean, there was a discrepancy in timeouts because apparently we used all 3, but we didn't. We had only used 2 because we weren't allowed to sub even though they sub, so we had to use the time. It was a mess. But that just being able to stand back and go, no, my defense need the timeout here, and have confidence in Shane Steichen and the offense, like you said earlier, Nathan, to go and win it. Like, use the timeout. Because do you know what, Jim Harbour, give us 2 minutes with Daniel Jones at the minute because he'll do it in 3 plays. And my next hero of the week, and I will keep this short, but he does deserve a shout out. I'm going to it more on Thursday, and I'm going to butcher his name. Abdullah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought him up.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought him up.
Was it an 81-yard return?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. When the pressure was ramping up and we needed something big, and he just to blitz through that gap. Absolutely massive return to someone who I didn't know about him really, but he's been around the league quite a bit. Sort of never really got his shot, but he's taken his shot at running back 2. And just to bring up a few scars because it wouldn't be our show if it wasn't. Tyler Goodson, take note because he's coming for that running back 2 shirt.
Yeah.
And fair play to him. But quickly then, because we've nearly been doing an hour, but there's just so much to talk about. And as you can tell, we're all excited about this 6-1. Play of the week. And I'm going to put one out there. If you disagree, you can. Grover Stewart tipping it to himself for a pick.
Big man pick.
Beautiful. And I absolutely loved JJ Watt's enthusiasm for that on commentary. Because obviously it means something to him being a defensive line player. But Grover, I mean, I'm going to do it just to make you both laugh. I'm gonna squeeze him in. I've managed to find a way to squeeze him in. Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner. It's a bit like Salim and Gabrielle, just saying.
Oh, God.
Yawn.
Except we don't want to finish second.
But real talk, Grover Stewart goes unnoticed because of how good his partner in crime is. But this level from Grover Stewart just is another level to what we've seen, even as Colts fans. Anything before we go, gentlemen?
Yeah, I just on that as well. What I loved about that pick was, did you see the whole sideline running off to celebrate with him?
Mm-hmm.
Like literally everybody went off, which I thought just shows how good the vibes are in the locker room at the moment. Because obviously Grove's got to be, you can tell he's a big personality, and I bet he's a great guy to be around. Yeah. But how happy everybody was with him, like first ever career pick. I thought that was awesome. I loved seeing the way that everybody celebrated. I loved that everything about that play.
Yeah. Go on, Nate.
Yeah, I'll keep it in the south. You're going to boo me for this. I actually hope I hear audible boos. But I thought Drake May's first bomb touchdown to Keishon Booty. Great catch by Booty too. I think it was Booty. Was just unbelievable. Patriots got themselves a gunslinger. This guy looks like he's going to be kind of the next big pocket passer. So, yay!
Yeah. Well, I did see Cam Ward's latest sort of throwing it backwards fumble.
he looked awful yesterday, but I was watching a game with one of my pals is a Titans fan, one of them's a Pats fan, so it's like I went to watch with them, and another ugly showing for Tennessee, who I thought really bottled the game in the first half by not calling a timeout. It was just tragic coaching. I don't know if you've watched the game, gents, but Harrison, I'll let you package it up.
Yeah, no worries. Always enjoy about the Titans losing. You know, I mean, the AFC's finally in the place where it should be. It's like the universe has brought itself back to balance with the Colts in the 1 seed. I think the Chargers were in I think it was like the Colts, the Pittsburgh, the Chargers, and
Patriots.
The Patriots, yeah. Are we going back to 2002? What's this? But anyway, thanks for joining. We've been Southbound. Our deep dive, even though this has been a long show, but lots to talk about. Our deep dive on Thursday, same time. Come and join us. But for now, enjoy the Colts being 6-1. See you all later.